Hello, and welcome back to your top source for all things Duggar. We've got a whirlwind of updates for you today, from long-awaited baby news to some serious financial questions and a big move in the works. We're talking about Jana's incredible pregnancy milestone, a jaw-dropping $75,000 bill connected to Jessa, and Joanna's search for her family's dream home. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get right into it. First up is a story that has had Duggar fans buzzing with excitement. After years of questions and speculation, Jana Duggar, the eldest Duggar daughter, has announced that she's expecting her first child. Jana and her husband, Stephen Wisman, shared the wonderful news with the world in August 2025, almost exactly 1 year after their beautiful wedding in August 2024. The couple posted a series of sweet photos on Instagram, showcasing Jana's growing baby bump. In the announcement, they share that their little one is due in January 2026. This is a particularly significant announcement in the Duggar world. For years, as many of her younger sisters got married and started families, fans have wondered when and if Jana would find her person. Her journey was a frequent topic of discussion on the family shows, 19 Kids and Counting On. Now, at 35, Jana is embarking on the journey to motherhood, and the outpouring of support has been immense. Her family was quick to share their congratulations publicly. Her sister, Jessa, who is no stranger to the newborn phase, commented her excitement, and Jill also shared her well wishes. It's clear that this baby is already so loved. Adding another layer to their new chapter, Jana and Stephen have been settling into a new life in Nebraska, away from the Duggar family compound in Arkansas. They've been documenting the process of renovating their fixer-upper home, giving fans a glimpse into their life as a couple. Now, they'll be preparing a nursery in their newly renovated space. Recently, Jana shared an update celebrating the halfway point in her pregnancy, a significant milestone for any expectant mother. She has been glowing in the photos and appears to be embracing this new season of life with immense joy. We wish Jana and Stephen all the best as they prepare to welcome their baby. Next, we're turning our attention to a topic that has sparked a lot of debate and concern among Duggar watchers, a rumored $75,000 bill connected to Jessa Seawald. Now, before we dive in, it's important to note that this isn't a story that has been confirmed by Jessa herself in a straightforward manner. Instead, it's a figure that has emerged from online discussions and analysis by fans, stemming from the Duggar family's use of a Christian health-sharing ministry instead of traditional health insurance. For those who may not be familiar, a Christian health-sharing ministry, or CHM, is a nonprofit organization where members contribute a monthly share that is then used to pay for the medical bills of other members. It's a system based on a shared set of religious beliefs and is not regulated in the same way as insurance. The conversation around Jessa's medical expenses gained traction after she reportedly shared a medical bill on her Instagram. Eagle-eyed fans analyzed the itemized charges and compared them to what is considered a fair price for those services, suggesting that the initial costs were significantly inflated. The $75,000 figure appears to have originated from a comment made by a member of the Bates family, who are close friends with the Duggars, in an online forum. The comment suggested that for a particular surgery, a discounted cash price of around $75,000 was paid. This has led to widespread speculation about the true cost of health care for the Duggars and the financial realities of relying on a health-sharing ministry. Critics of these ministries argue that they can leave members vulnerable to massive bills, as they are not legally obligated to cover all medical expenses. There can be caps on how much is covered, and certain pre-existing conditions or treatments may not be eligible for sharing. This situation has opened up a larger conversation about the Duggar family's financial practices and the advice they have given to their followers over the years. While the Duggars have long promoted a debt-free lifestyle, the complexities of navigating the American healthcare system without traditional insurance can be incredibly challenging and costly. Without a direct confirmation from Jessa about a specific $75,000 bill, it remains a topic of online discussion. However, it sheds light on the alternative financial paths the Duggars have chosen and the potential risks and benefits associated with them. Finally, Let's talk about a big move for Joanna Forsyth and her husband, Austin. It seems this growing family is in search of their forever home. In a recent update, it was confirmed that Joy and Austin have sold their home in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And it was a successful sale, fetching $381,000, which was $12,000 over their initial asking price. The couple had put a lot of work into this home, which they purchased in 2016, and had undertaken a significant remodel. Many of Joy's social media posts have given glimpses into their life in that house, and it's clear it held many precious memories. So why the move? In an Instagram post, Joanna shared that they have always dreamed of living on a property with more land, a place where their children can have plenty of room to run and play. With a growing family, it's a dream many can relate to. For now, the Forsyths have moved into a rental property. This gives them the flexibility to search for the perfect piece of land and, perhaps, even build their dream home from the ground up. Given that Austin is a contractor with experience in renovating and building homes, this seems like a very real possibility for the couple. Over the years, there has been some speculation among fans that the Forsyths have lived in homes that Austin was working on to flip for a profit. Whether or not that's been the case, it's clear that their current focus is on finding a permanent place to put down roots for their family. We're excited to follow along on Joy and Austin's journey as they search for their dream home and can't wait to see where they land. And that's a wrap on our Duggar News Update. From a new baby on the way for Jana, to some serious financial discussion surrounding Jessa, and an exciting new chapter for Joanna, there's never a dull moment. For a family that built its brand on the concept of homeschooling as a core tenet of their faith, this is a monumental decision. It signals a clear departure from the isolated educational model of her childhood. In her book and subsequent interviews, Jill spoke about her desire to give her children a broader worldview and the social skills that come with a traditional school environment. This move is a tangible application of the principles she's been fighting for: choice, freedom, and a more mainstream approach to parenting. Beyond education, Jill has also been vocal about her and Derek's journey with therapy, both individual and couples counseling. She credits it with helping her process the trauma and relational complexities of her past. This open advocacy for mental health is another stark contrast to the pray-it-away mindset often associated with her family's fundamentalist background. Of course, the big question remains: where does she stand with her parents, Jim, Bob, and Michelle? While Jill has expressed a desire for reconciliation, it seems to be on her terms that require accountability and genuine change from her parents. Based on her public statements, the relationship remains strained. She and Derek appear to have found their own community and support system outside the main family fold, often spending holidays with Derek's family or their chosen circle of friends. Jill's journey is a powerful narrative about deconstruction and finding one's own voice, and it continues to be one of the most compelling stories in the Duggar saga. From Tontatown to Tinseltown, Jinger's California Dream. While Jill's rebellion has been relational and structural, her sister Jinger's has been theological and cultural. Jinger and her husband, Jeremy Vuolo, have carved out a unique space for themselves as the LA Duggars, and their evolution continues to fascinate viewers. Jinger's journey was detailed in her own book, Becoming Free Indeed, where she dismantled the toxic teachings of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, or IBLP, the ministry that shaped every aspect of her childhood. She specifically targeted the fear-based theology of its founder, Bill Gothard, and untangled her faith from his rigid, legalistic rules. We see the results of this freedom in her daily life. Her fashion, for one, has completely transformed. Once confined to long skirts and modest tops, Jinger now embraces pants, shorts, and more modern styles, reflecting her personal taste rather than a prescribed dress code. Beyond aesthetics, Jinger and Jeremy have immersed themselves in a different kind of Christian culture. They attend a church in Los Angeles that is far more mainstream than the home-based, patriarch-led services of her youth. They host a podcast, engage with their community, and appear to be raising their two daughters, Felicity and Evangeline, with a much less restrictive mindset. However, their journey isn't without its critics. Some viewers question if they've truly deconstructed, or simply traded one form of conservative Christianity for a more media-savvy, aesthetically pleasing version. Jeremy, a pastor himself, holds views that are still quite conservative by mainstream standards. But regardless of where they land on the theological spectrum, it's undeniable that Jinger's life in California is a world away from the one she was raised to expect in Town, Arkansas. The future of the Duggars. What's next for the younger kids? Finally, as the older Duggar children build their own lives, a new question emerges. What will become of the next generation? Our attention turns to the younger Duggar daughters who are still at home, sometimes referred to by fans as the Lost Girls. Johanna, Jennifer, Jordan Grace, and Josie are growing up in a vastly different world than their older sisters did. The family's television empire has crumbled in the wake of scandal. Their older siblings, like Jill and Jinger, have publicly rejected core aspects of their upbringing. The internet and social media have exposed the family to a level of scrutiny and outside influence that was unimaginable when Jana and Jill were teenagers. Will these younger girls follow the traditional path of courtship and early marriage, or will they be inspired by their sisters to seek something different? Will Jim Bob and Michelle double down on their strict rules to prevent more rebellion, or will they be forced to adapt? And then there are the grandchildren, more than 30 of them now. We're beginning to see the first wave, like Spurgeon Seawald and Israel Dillard, enter school age. Jessa appears to be following the family's homeschooling tradition, while Jill is sending her kids to public school. These diverging paths will likely create grandchildren who have vastly different life experiences and worldviews. The Duggar family is at a crossroads. The monolithic, unified front they once presented to the world has fractured. The future of the family name and legacy now rests not just with Jim Bob and Michelle, but with the dozens of children and grandchildren who are beginning to make their own choices. From Jill's courageous stand to Jinger's cultural reinvention and the unknown futures of the youngest Duggars, the family story is more complex than ever. It's a story of change, conflict, and the enduring question of whether you can ever truly leave your past behind. While Jill and Jinger have written books and publicly shared their stories, their brothers have remained conspicuously silent. Joseph, Josiah, Jedediah, Jeremiah, and the other adult sons have largely stayed quiet on the family controversies, choosing instead to follow the path laid out for them: get married, start a family, and work in a trade. Most of the married sons seem to be involved in the family's core businesses. Real estate, construction, and flipping houses appear to be the primary occupations for men like Joseph, Jeremiah, and Jedediah. They often work on projects connected to their father, Jim Bob, suggesting a continued reliance on the family's central financial structure. Their social media presence is minimal and highly curated, usually limited to family-friendly photos and major life announcements, presenting a united, untroubled front. This public silence raises a significant question. Do they agree with the strict system they were raised in, or are they simply not in a position to speak out? Unlike their sisters who married outsiders like Derek and Jeremy, most of the sons' wives come from similar fundamentalist backgrounds, potentially reinforcing the insular nature of their lives. Then we have the sons-in-law, who present a study in contrasts. On one end, you have Derek Dillard, Jill's husband, who passed the bar exam and now works as an attorney. He has been the primary mouthpiece for their grievances with the family, publicly challenging Jim Bob on financial and personal matters. On the other end, you have men like Ben Seawald, Jessa's husband. While he has a passion for theology and has taken on pastoral roles, he remains firmly within the family's sphere of influence. Austin Forsyth, Joy's husband, has his own successful construction and renovation business, giving their small family a degree of financial independence. The men's stories are a crucial, often overlooked, part of the Duggar narrative. Their choices, to stay or to leave, to speak out or to remain silent, will play a huge role in the future of the family. For over a decade, the Duggar family's primary source of income was their hit TLC show, Counting On. That all came to an abrupt end following Josh Duggar's arrest. The loss of that television money, estimated to be in the tens of thousands of dollars per episode, undoubtedly created a massive financial hole. So, how does the family make money in 2025? The answer seems to lie in Jim Bob Duggar's long-standing passion, real estate. For decades, even before TV fame, Jim Bob has been buying and selling properties across Northwest Arkansas. Public records show a complex web of LLCs and property holdings connected to the family. This portfolio includes commercial properties, residential homes, and large tracts of land. This is likely the financial engine that keeps the family compound running and provides work for many of the sons. For the individual children, the financial picture is more varied. Several of the married couples have turned to social media for income. Jessa Seawald and Joanna Forsyth, for example, have monetized YouTube channels and engage in brand partnerships and sponsored posts on Instagram. This allows them to generate their own income stream, separate from their father. However, this reliance on a public-facing image comes with its own challenges. They must maintain a brand that is appealing to sponsors while navigating the constant controversy surrounding their family name. Ultimately, the Duggar financial empire has been forced to privatize. The steady, guaranteed income from television has been replaced by a combination of Jim Bob's real estate ventures and the social media hustles of the individual children. It's a far less stable model and likely creates a very different power dynamic within the family. Finally, we need to address the most difficult and tragic corner of the Duggar story, the reality for Jana Duggar and her 7 children. Since Josh Duggar was sentenced to over 12 years in federal prison, Jana has been left to raise their children, Mackenzie, Michael, Marcus, Meredith, Mason, Mariella, and Madison on her own. Based on credible reports and insider statements, Jana and her children continue to live on the Duggar family compound, likely in a warehouse or guest house on the property. This means she is living under the direct care and authority of her in-laws, Jim, Bob, and Michelle. While this provides a roof over her children's heads, it also places her in an incredibly dependent and potentially isolating position. Jana has remained publicly loyal to Josh, and reports suggest she has made the long trip to the federal prison in Texas to visit him when possible. She has no public social media presence and has completely withdrawn from the spotlight she once shared with the family. Her situation highlights one of the most severe consequences of the IBLP teachings she and the Duggars followed. The system is designed to leave women completely dependent on their husbands and fathers, with little education or work experience to fall back on. In Jana's case, with her husband incarcerated and her own family living in Florida, she is left with few options outside of relying on the very family at the center of her husband's scandal. The primary concern, of course, is for her 7 children who are the innocent victims in this situation. They are growing up without their father and are being raised in the shadow of his crimes. Jana's story is a heartbreaking and cautionary tale about faith, loyalty, and the real-world consequences of a patriarchal system. We can only hope that she and her children are receiving the support and care they need. The stories of the Duggar men, the family's shifting finances, and Jana's quiet struggle paint a picture of a family in transition, grappling with the fallout of their past. The unified image they once projected is gone, replaced by a far more complicated and fractured reality. What are your thoughts on these topics? Do you think any of the sons will ever follow in their sister's footsteps and share their own stories? Let us know your perspective in the comments below. Thank you for joining us for this 3-part series. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for all of our future content.